Once upon a time, there was a young girl named Lily who lived in a quiet little town, surrounded by forests and fields. She loved reading books, listening to the chirping of birds, and watching the sunset from her window. But more than anything, Lily had a dream. She wanted to see the world, especially the big, bustling city of New York. Lily had heard so many stories about New York. Her grandmother had visited when she was young and would tell Lily tales of the tall buildings that seemed to touch the sky, of Central Park, where people jogged, biked, and picnicked, and of Broadway, where actors put on the most magical shows. Lily imagined herself walking through the streets of New York, experiencing everything her grandmother had described. One sunny morning, Lily's dream finally came true. Her parents surprised her with tickets to New York City for her birthday. She could hardly believe it. Her heart raced with excitement as she packed her suitcase, making sure to bring her favorite books, a camera, and of course, a notebook to jot down all the things she would see. The journey to New York felt like an adventure all on its own. When Lily finally arrived, the city felt like a whole new world. The streets were filled with people walking quickly, the sounds of car horns honking, and the air smelled of fresh bagels and coffee. It was nothing like the quiet town she had known, and yet there was something magical about it. As soon as Lily stepped out of the taxi, she was in awe of the towering skyscrapers around her. They seemed to stretch endlessly into the sky. She tilted her head back, her eyes wide with wonder. "This is incredible," she whispered to herself. Her first stop was Central Park, a green oasis in the middle of the city. As she wandered through the park, she saw families having picnics, children playing on swings, and even some musicians playing soft tunes on their guitars. Lily sat on a bench, taking in the sights and sounds, and felt as though she had stepped into one of the books she'd always read about. She pulled out her notebook and began to write down everything she saw. The vibrant flowers, vibrant colors, the children's laughter, and the smell of fresh grass. Every detail felt so alive. The next day, Lily decided to visit Times Square, which was even more dazzling than she had imagined. Neon lights flashed everywhere, and huge digital billboards advertised Broadway shows, movies, and all kinds of exciting things. People from all over the world were there, taking pictures, talking, and enjoying the energy of the place. Lily couldn't help but smile. She had never seen so many people in one place. She marveled at the way the lights lit up the entire square, making it feel like daytime even though it was evening. It was like the city never slept. She walked around, taking in the bright lights, the street, performers singing, dancing, and even a man who painted incredible portraits on the sidewalk. "Wow," Lily said to herself. "Ever imagined? This is New York City. It's bigger, brighter, and more magical than I." The next day, Lily went to the Empire State Building. As she stood at the top, looking out over the city, she felt like she could see the whole world spread out before her. The streets were full of cars, the parks full of people, and the rivers sparkled in the sunlight. It was all so beautiful, and Lily felt a sense of wonder she couldn't quite explain. She took a deep breath, grateful for the chance to be there, to experience this incredible place. Lily also made time to visit a famous bookstore. She'd read about it in a guidebook, and it was everything she had hoped for. The shelves were filled with every book she could imagine, and the smell of paper and ink filled the air. She spent hours there, browsing the aisles, picking out books, and chatting with the friendly staff who shared their favorite reads. On her last day in New York, Lily took a walk across the Brooklyn Bridge. The breeze was cool, and the view of the city's skyline was breathtaking. As she walked, she thought about everything she had seen, the people, the lights, the tall buildings, and the way the city felt alive, like a place full of endless stories. Before she left, Lily stopped at a little cafe near the bridge. She ordered a warm cup of cocoa and sat by the window, watching the world go by. She smiled to herself, realizing that this trip had given her so much more than just memories it had inspired her. She could already picture herself writing stories about New York, sharing all the adventures she had experienced. As she boarded the plane back home, Lily knew that the city would always be in her heart. New York had shown her the magic of a place where anything was possible, and she couldn't wait to return one day. But for now, she was filled with stories to tell, stories of a girl from a small town who dreamed big and found herself in the heart of the world's most exciting city.